Okay, so for this lesson, we're going to be covering how to simplify a cube root. We've done square roots, but now we're going to do a cube root, and it's almost the same thing. Okay, so let's just start with some background information here. Cube is an exponent of 3. So if I have 2 to the third power, that means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And so therefore, if I do it backwards, the cube root of 8 is 2, because 8 is 2 times 4, 4 is 2 times 2. Okay? So once again, here's the difference, because the sign looks the same, right? That's a square root, that's a cube root. So you know the difference because of that tiny 3. That tiny 3 is not a regular number. That's part of the sign to tell you it's a cube root. So squares were pairs. Cube roots are groups of 3. That's the only difference. You do it the same way, but now instead of pairs, we want groups of 3s. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here. Alright, so the example problem is cube root of 24. So I need to simplify this because if I put that in my calculator, I'm basically going to get like 2.7 or something. Okay, so it's not a perfect cube, so I'm going to break it down. 24 is 2 times 12. 12 is 2 times 6, and 6 is 2 times 3. So now let's look at how to read this. The end of our rows are tree branches. I have a 2, 2, 2, and a 3. So I want to make a group of 3 now. So I have 3 2s. That's what's going to come out here. So let's skip down to here. So I'm going to put my cube root sign with a tiny 3 so I don't confuse it with like a regular number. And then once again, when this 2 comes out, it just comes out as 2. That's a group of 2. And what's left here is the 3. And that's it. So once again, as you can see, it's exactly the same, but we're circling 3 numbers at a time instead of 2. That's it. Okay? Alright, let's try a few, and then I'll have you try a few on your own. Cube root of 16. So to do the cube root of 16, let's break it down. 16 is 2 times 8. 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So because I'm doing a cube, that 3 is your hint. That means circle a group of 3. And I have 3 2s. So I'm going to put my sign, and let's fill in the answer. A group of 2s came out. This 2 stays in. And that's it. Alright, now number 2 is a little bit of a different situation. Now we have cube root of a negative 250. Now, you might be thinking I can't do this. And I like how you're thinking because a square root we can't do a negative. A cube root we can do a negative. It's okay. Alright? So here's what we're going to do. Going to break it down. Alright, so let's do this. 250 is going to be 5 times 50. Alright? And then 50 is going to be 5 times 10, and 10 is going to be 5 times 2. Now here's the thing though, I've taken care of the number, but I haven't taken care of the sign. Now the thing is, I do want the negative to come out. I don't want to leave the negative inside. So what I can basically do here is just put the negative on my group of 3. I have 3 5s. They'll all be negative now. That's just kind of the shortcut way to do it. So now I've got a group of 3 that is all negative 5s. So when I fill my answer in, the negative 5 comes out, and then the positive 2 stays in. Okay? Alright, last one together. Cube root of 54. Let's break that down. 54 is 9 times 6. And now look, the 9 is 3 times 3. But now look at the 6. I can break that down to 2 times 3, right? And what do I have a group of 3 of? 3 3s, even though they're not together in that case. Cube root sign, the 3 comes out, 2 stays in. Okay? Alright, so pause the podcast, work out these 3, and then check your answers. Alright, so for number 4, the final answer is here in black, 2 cube root of 4. Once again, so it broke down to all these 2s. I have a group of 2s of 3 here. pull out the negative with that though. Whoop. So my bad, I should put that negative here. The negative 2 comes out, and what stays in, I have a 2 and a 2, so I got to put them back together. That's why the 4 is inside. Cube root of 128. This took a lot of steps to break down. So look, I had 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's 2 groups of 2. So 1, 2 comes out, the other 2 comes out, but I got to multiply them together, and that's why it's 4 on the outside. This 1, 2 stayed inside. Alright? And then the same thing kind of happened here. Here's the breakdown. A group of 3 3s came out. The 2 2 stayed inside, and that's why there's 4. Alright, so now we're going to look at how we do cube roots with variables. Alright? Pretty easy. So on this page, let's just kind of skip ahead here. So if I want to simplify this cube root of x to the 5th, y to the 6th, what that means is x 5 times, y 6 times, but instead of squares and pairs, I'm making groups of 3. So I can make one group of 3 on the x, and I got 2 more. That's not enough for a group of 3. My y's, I can make one group of 3, 2 groups of 3. Alright, so now what we're going to do here is simplify it on our answer. So, let's put our symbol. Now, how many groups of x's do we make? One group, so 1x comes out. That's one group. But now look what's inside. X and x. That's x squared still there. Okay? Remember, what comes out is different than what stays in. Now look at my y's. 2 y pairs or y groups came out, so that's y squared for 2 groups, and there's no y left inside. And that's it. Okay? Alright, so let's do a few of these together here. Alright? Number 7. Cube root of x cubed means this, I should say. X, x, x. That is one group of 3. So that means on my answer, this x comes out, meaning one group. Nothing stays inside, so remember, that means I don't need this. Final answer is just x. Alright, number 8, cube root of x to the 4th, y to the 7th. So, that means 4 x's, and that means 7 y's. So let's make our groups of 3. On my x, I can make one group of 3. On my y, I can make 2 groups of 3. So now let's put that into our answer here. I'm going to put my radical sign. What comes out on the x? One group of x, so it's just an x that comes out. 1x stays in, so I put 1x. Look at my y's. 2 groups came out, so y comes out, but squared for 2 pairs. And this 1y stays in. Okay? Alright, give number 9 a shot. Pause it and try. Alright, so number 9, here's the final answer. All the x's came out, all the y's came out, 1z stayed in. Okay? Alright, so let's try this here. So now we're going to kind of put everything together, numbers and variables. Alright, but we're still doing cube roots. So remember, just do one thing at a time. Let's take care of the number first. So I need to break 8 down. 8 is 2 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. So let's think about this. How many groups of 3 do I have? Or how many, groups of 3. I got one group of 3 of 2's. Okay? So let's start getting our answer set up. The 2 comes out. Nothing stays inside for the number, because 8 is a perfect cube. 2 times 2 times 2. So the number totally simplifies. Now the x, that's 1x. If I only have 1x, I can't make a group of 3. So nothing happens to the x. That stays inside. Alright, now let's look at the y. Y cubed is y, 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 or 3 y's. I can make one group of 3. So that means the y comes out for one group. Nothing stays in. That's my answer. Okay? Alright, number 11. We have cube root of negative 27 y to the 9th. So now we got that negative number. No big deal, remember? So let's break it down first. 27 is 3 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. And I'm done. But remember, we want to pull the negative out. So put the negative on your group of 3. So here, I can pull out a group of negative 3. So let's start getting our answer set up here. The negative 3 comes out, and everything came out. There's no number left. Now, if I have y to the 9th, that's 9y's. So, how many groups of 3 can we make? 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. So to show that it's 3 groups of y's coming out, I need a 3 exponent on my y. Nothing stayed in the sign, so let's take that back off. There's our final answer. Alright, so number 12, pause it, give it a shot, and then unpause it to check your answer here. Alright, so here's your final answer. On the outside should be 2 times x times y to the third. On the inside should be 3 times x squared times y. Alright, and that's how you simplify cube roots. It's the same as squares except for you're circling groups of 3. That's it.